President Donald Trump avoids another assassination attempt threat thanks to a British newspaper and not the FBI or Secret Service. Comedian Jon Stewart gets an explosive reaction from his audience as he exposes the hypocrisy of Kamala Harris and the Democrat Party. President Trump gets one of the biggest, most exciting reactions from a crowd of nearly 50,000 American patriots in Phoenix, Arizona, as RFK Jr. joins his second administration. You won't want to miss today's broadcast. Just as President Trump prepared to visit the border yesterday, a manhunt was underway in Arizona for a dangerous individual who had threatened to assassinate the former president. Local law enforcement identified the suspect as 66-year-old Ronald Searwood, who had made multiple threats of bodily harm against President Trump on social media. Thanks to swift action and intelligence, police were able to track down and arrest Searwood, who already had outstanding warrants against him. Now, here's what makes this story even crazier. President Trump and his team were tipped off about the assassination plot by the Daily Mail news company, not Secret Service and not the FBI. What the heck is going on with our intelligence agencies that they keep missing these life-threatening attempts against Donald Trump's life? A British newspaper had to tell Trump, hey, dude, your life is in grave danger. Be careful today. Do you think that the FBI and the Secret Service are perhaps purposely leaving President Trump vulnerable? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you believe they are, I want you to type Y for yes and N for no. But seriously, like, of all the intelligence going around, it was a British newspaper that tipped him off that he was going to have somebody try to attack or kill him later that day. Now, shortly after the news broke, Breitbart's John Nolte claimed that threat may have been provoked by the harsh words against Donald Trump during the Democrat National Convention in Chicago. Now, to be fair, Trump was labeled a racist, a Nazi, which is insanely irresponsible rhetoric to be using. Harris, for example, claimed that Donald Trump is an autocrat who wants to jail his opponents and raise up citizens against each other for his own glory. Now, we know that's a bit of an exaggeration, but people at the DNC believed it. Also, Trump wants to lock people up? Really? Really? That's what you're going with? Democrats are literally at this very moment trying to get Donald Trump jailed and sent to Rikers Island prison. Democrats are trying to strip Donald Trump of Secret Service protection. The media and Democrats are literally brainwashing their believers to believe that Trump is worse than Adolf Hitler and that as a Nazi, he needs to be taken out. This is the kind of heated rhetoric that these Democrats are hearing on a daily basis. By the way, thank you guys so much for liking and sharing these videos. You gave one of my videos over 30,000 views last week, so thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Okay, now that the DNC has ended and Harris has accepted her official nomination, Democrats are beginning to realize that they don't know anything about Kamala Harris. Breitbart News interviewed an unnamed anonymous House Democrat who stated, they, the voter, have very little knowledge about who she is, what her job has actually been. They know Trump. They know his policies. They don't know Kamala. And so Kamala has a ton of room right now to define herself. Now, it's sad to say, but up until this point, the Harris campaign has won over voters by simply paying off celebrities, rappers, and unleashing the popularity of Barack and Michelle Obama. The DNC, for instance, was more popular than it should have been because people attending were told that there would be a free concert with artist Beyonce performing. Now, after the start didn't show up and it was proven to be a lie to get more people in their seats, even news organization TMZ had to lie for misleading the American public. This whole thing was one giant scam in order to fill the seats and make it look like there was a lot of hype at the DNC convention. All right, now I have some huge Trump news. And tonight's show host, Jon Stewart, roasts Democrats brilliantly. But first, a word from today's video sponsor. Colonial Metals Group helped me with my goal of protecting my financial future. Being at the whim of the stock market or the current administration, Kamalanomics, does not make me feel safe or secure. But having a self-directed IRA where I can safely store gold and silver, assets that have stood the test of time, no matter the economy or the government administration, that makes me feel safe. Now, Colonial Metals Group helped me create a self-directed IRA that I can have direct access to my assets. Let the team of experts at CMG help protect your family's future. Their level of professionalism and ability to make it easy to learn everything you need to know about preserving your fortune and your hard work, they'll go through all of it. Now, maybe you're just getting started, or maybe you already have a 401k or an IRA, or maybe you're in charge of making sure mom and dad's money is kept safe. Either way, Colonial Metals Group can help. Now, we put together a special offer for my audience. Click now on the link in the description below or call the special 800 number, and you can receive a safe and up to $7,500 in free silver. Check out colonialmetalsgroup.com/Gardner or call 800-807-2143 right now. All right, now, comedian and Daily Show host Jon Stewart rips Democrats a new one. He points out the horrible hypocrisy at the DNC and roasts Kamala Harris, but let me just roll the clip and we'll look at it together.
They had a guy yelling, "Screw the billionaires," followed immediately by a very happy billionaire. It's all okay if it's our billionaire. I don't like billionaires, but he's all right. They had guys making fun of people for going to Yale, and a bunch of people who went to Yale. The Democrats had people who prosecuted sexual predators and...
Yep.
There goes that booking.
Well, Johnny boy, I don't think you're going to miss out by not having Bill Clinton on your show, but I love that. They literally blast sexual predators, and then they have Bill Clinton come out who, R-worded a girl, paid $800,000 to silence another one, was sleeping with his intern, doing horrible, nasty things in the White House Oval Office behind Hillary Clinton's back. So Jon Stewart just absolutely roasts them. You can go on and watch the rest of that show. It was very, very funny. But whatever the Democrats are saying that Donald Trump and Republicans are doing, they themselves are doing, right? Like, go back to Kamala saying Donald Trump literally wants to lock up his political enemies, while she and her crew are literally trying to lock Donald Trump up right now. All right, now, this is huge. I've been predicting this for months. If you've been watching my show, you know that I have been saying a Donald Trump RFK Jr. tag team of breaking up the deep state and healing America would be massive. Well, it's all coming to fruition now. It's official. RFK Jr. has just suspended his campaign and endorsed Donald Trump for president of the United States. While he has removed his name from the ballot in many swing states, he is going to leave them on in other red and blue states. Now, this decision will likely give Donald Trump an edge in swing states, as RFK Jr. supporters are most likely going to go where he tells them to. And you'll see there right now, there's a majority that are saying, we're going to vote for Donald Trump if that's what RFK Jr. says is best for the nation. And there's other people that are saying, listen, I just can't get behind this. But guess what? Just like Trump has unleashed J.D. Vance on the American people, he's going to release RFK Jr. to travel all over the country, preparing people to vote for Donald Trump. It's going to be magnificent. Now, RFK Jr. explained his decision, stating, in my heart, I no longer believe that I have a realistic path to electoral victory in the face of this relentless, systematic censorship and media control. So I cannot in good conscience ask my staff and volunteers to keep working their long hours or ask my donors to keep giving when I cannot honestly tell them that I have a real path to the White House. Now, this is part of RFK Jr.'s humility. I knew that he was not going to win, even though I really like many of his policies. But a J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, RFK Jr. ticket, wow, this is going to be absolutely incredible. Now, in response to the news, Donald Trump himself stated, I want to thank Bobby. That was very nice. That's big. He's a great guy, respected by everybody. RFK Jr., whose nickname is Bobby, made a debut at the Trump rally in Arizona, which was completely packed with people. The crowd went absolutely crazy when Trump said RFK Jr. would be put in charge of investigating Big Pharma and what is making Americans sick and what is giving kids autism and kids and adults autoimmune diseases. There's no other country in the world like America that has the sicknesses and the obesity and the difficulties that we have. And that's because the government has been captured by Big Pharma. Now, unfortunately, the remaining Kennedy family is divided on this issue. After RFK Jr. announced his support for Donald Trump, 5 of his siblings released a statement which read, "We want an America filled with hope and bound together by a shared vision of a brighter future. We believe in Harris and Walz. Our brother Bobby's decision to endorse Trump today is a betrayal of the values that our father and our family hold most dear." Now, I don't believe that is true. The Democrat Party of JFK and RFK is gone. It's dead. Republicans today are more like JFK and RFK than they are Barack Obama and Joe Biden. So their family is living in the past. And that past, if they opened their eyes, they would realize this is not what their father or uncle would appreciate. Now, I'm going to watch a little bit of a longer clip. I can't show when Bobby comes out on stage because of a Foo Fighters song that I'll get hit with a copyright claim. But when he comes out, 50,000 people literally lose their minds. They're screaming, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. The special guest is amazing." What I want to show you is what Trump and RFK Jr. said together. Let me put that up here.
He's a brilliant, I still think of him as young. He's not that young. I always call him young, but he's not that young. But he is a phenomenal person, a phenomenal man who loves the people of this country as much as anybody can love the people of this country. So, Bobby, please say a few words. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, President Trump.
This is so exciting, you guys.
Thank you. A few hours after the assassination attempt at Butler, I got a call from a safe food advocate named Kelly Means, who's been fighting for many years to try to end the corruption at CDC and FDA and USDA. And these institutions, these regulatory agencies are actually run by the big food processing companies, the big ag and the chemical companies that they're supposed to regulate. And he said to me that he'd been advising me for many years and on my campaign. And he told me that night that he was also advising President Trump. And he asked if I would talk to President Trump. And I said, of course. And about a few minutes later, I got a call from the president. And we talked. We had a very good talk. And then he invited me to come see him the next day. And I went to Minneapolis and saw him. We met again a couple of weeks later in Florida. And we talked about, not about the things that separate us because we don't agree on everything, but on the values and the issues that bind us together. And one of the issues that he talked about was having safe food and ending the chronic disease epidemic.
Yes.
Our children are now the unhealthiest, sickest children in the world. Don't you want healthy children?
Yes.
And don't you want the chemicals out of our food? And don't you want the regulatory agencies to be free from corporate corruption?
Look how big that crowd is.
And that's what President Trump told me that he wanted. He also told me that he wanted to end the grip of the neocons on U.S. foreign policy. He said he didn't want any more $200 billion wars in Ukraine, that we could use that money back here in the United States. And the best way to build a safe America is to rebuild our industrial base and rebuild the middle class in this country.
Yes.
And don't you want a president who's going to get us out of the wars and who's going to rebuild the middle class in this country? And he told me that he wanted to end the censorship because the whole basis of American democracy is the free flow of information. And we know that a government that can silence its opponents has license for any kind of atrocity. And can you think of any time that you can look back in history and say that the people who were censoring were the good guys? They're always the bad guys, because it's always the first step down that slippery slope to totalitarianism. And don't you want a president who's going to protect America's freedoms?
That crowd, it's huge.
And who is going to protect us against totalitarianism? And I want to ask you again, don't you want a safe environment for your children? Don't you want to know that the food that you're feeding them is not filled with chemicals that are going to give them cancer and chronic disease?
Yes.
And don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again? Thank you all very, very much, and God bless you, and God bless America.
Isn't that amazing? My father-in-law was right within the first 4 or 5 rows watching. He said it was incredible. The energy was just on fire. So awesome. I'm so excited about that. I don't agree with everything that RFK Jr. believes in, but I believe that he is going to fight for America, for our health, and for our children. If you start digging into big pharma, you will realize how much corruption there is. And yet I'm alive because of big pharma. Surgeries I've had, injuries, medications that I've needed. And at the same time, they have captured the government in order to get drugs through that can do tremendous damage to our health, right? So anyway, this is why I try to tell you guys about my health journey, because I want everyone in my community to be happy and healthy and prosperous with lots of money and good health and happiness. So anyway, very exciting, and I wanted to share that with you. All right, now just in time for the upcoming election, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has finally claimed it's time to cut interest rates. What this really means is they're getting desperate because the U.S. economy is getting shaky. Now, this decision appears to be based on a weakening labor market, which means that job growth is lower than it should be. And to add to this issue, it was recently exposed that the Biden administration lied about 818,000 jobs, which means an interest rate cut may be overdue. In today's meeting, yesterday's meeting, Powell stated, "The time has come for a policy shift. My confidence has shown that inflation is on a sustainable path back to 2%. We do not seek or welcome further cooling in the labor market conditions." Now, tell me what you guys think. Do you ever miss the Trump years when wages were up and inflation was almost non-existent? Like, I don't remember the price of eggs going up 100%. I don't remember the price of bread going up 50%. I don't remember gas going up 200%. In fact, it came down from when Trump was in office, and I'm hoping that that will be the case in a second term. Now, that's great news from Powell, but how did they overestimate 818,000 jobs? Like, this seems like this is your only job, is to count the jobs, and then you miss it by over 800,000. Something seems a little suspicious there, right? Like they needed to bump up the numbers in order to bump Biden in the polls and in the favorability rating. All right, now, but even though inflation may finally be under control, that doesn't mean that prices aren't still up. It's not like prices are falling. Grocery prices are up on average, not everything. Some things are up a lot, some things are up a little, but on average, overall groceries up 22%. I think that's also a lie. I swear my grocery bill has doubled. Let me know over in the comments. Do you feel like your grocery bill is up 22%, or do you feel like it's up 200%, right? Like if you used to buy groceries for $100, that means that they would be $122. But I swear, if I'm buying $100 worth of groceries, it's $200. That's my opinion. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, please. I want to hear from you guys. All right, now in some international news, White House National Security Advisor, John Kirby, has updated us on the ongoing peace negotiation with Gaza. While 2 weeks ago, he previously stated we were closer than ever, a deal still has not been finalized. Today, he stated there has been progress made, but we need both sides to come together. I don't think it's going to happen, right? Like Palestine wants Israel wiped off the map, and Israel wants Palestine to quit attacking them. So it's a bad situation. Hamas has continued to claim that they will not agree to any deal that does not include the complete and total withdrawal of the Israeli Defense Federation. The United States cannot force them to leave. This is their war. But it doesn't help when you have someone like communist Kamala Harris trying to appease a community that wishes death on the Jews, right? Like, I don't wish death on the Muslims. I don't wish death on the Jews. And that's where Biden and Kamala have really struggled. And this is where I believe we need Donald Trump in order to end this war and also to end the Russia-Ukraine war and to please, please, please avoid a war with Iran. All right, that's my update for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Please stay amazing. If you could, please give this video a like because it helps me out so much. It would mean a lot to me if you hit that like button. Also, join our community. We're approaching 1.8 million amazing truth seekers. I would love to get there very soon. Hey, I love you guys so much, and I will